This is the Ethereum 1 month overview reading for the month of June 2023. It's currently May 4th, 2023, 8:57 p.m. Eastern Time. Ethereum at the time of this reading is currently $1,880.67. That's USD. And the shuffle file we're about to play was created on April 12th, 2023 at 10:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this file right here. So the overall theme and behavior for the month, we have a rally that offers an opportunity to open up a short position. It's crossed with a peak that forms when we have a brief move higher through resistance. We stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through the same price level shortly thereafter with a full retracement. Behavior around the highest high, the completion of a multi-day trend, a multi-day rally. Behavior around the lowest low. My sense is that this is indicating three lows. The works card usually is sideways rotation, rising to meet the nearest critical resistance, and then falling back down and continuing to rotate sideways along a key support level. So you go from support to resistance and immediately back to support. But in the case of what's going on here, there's really three places that we might see a lowest low. We'll get into that, the lowest lows and the highest highs and all that stuff in more detail in just a minute. But first I want to take a look and see how we did for April. Not our best work, but the trade, the best trade from the paid version, the most important trade that we spoke about was opening a long position here between the 9th, 10th and closing a long position here on the 15th. And that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. Opening a long position here on the 9th, 10th, closing a long position on the 15th. That would have yielded probably the most amount of change. You could have gone a little lower, but we had an early low, not far off as far as price level is concerned. And then it looks like we go to a this is actually a high correlator here on the 15th, so pretty close there. But then we have a highest high at the end of the month. That's where we went a little skewy. The 27th ends up being a prominent peak or crest, but not a highest high. Nonetheless, the main trade would have been solid. We're not going to get it right all the time, guys. That's just not how it is. But the main trade was really solid, so that's what's important. There's really like a 1859 to 2092. So it's like almost like a $250 gain there. Pretty solid for the month. All right, guys. So what I'm seeing here is we have a highest high on the 1st and the 3rd. So we probably have like a highest high and then a sharp drop and then a big move back to a highest high there on the 3rd. Followed by another sharp drop, and such a sharp drop that it might even take us into our first lowest low here on the 5th. So these highest highs, they may be highest highs until we get to the end of the month here around like the 19th, 20th, and then there's the possibility of a higher price level, hard to say. But what's important is that we've got a cross correlation to the June low for the sneak preview of July, indicating that we likely see a lower price level than we have in June. We see a lower price level in July. When we take a look at the 1 year, we don't have a high correlator or low correlator here for June, but we do have a low correlation for early July, indicating a lower price level than what we have here in June. So that's looking pretty solid. As far as like wanting to get into a trade that positions oneself for a lower price level in July. We'll get into that in more detail in the paid version, guys. There's a lot of trades up here in the beginning of the month, a lot of trades here and in mid-month and then at the end of the month, but we'll get into that in the paid version. And guys, if you want to support the channel, if you regularly use the Ethereum monthly reading, then really you should. It's the right thing to do. You can support the channel by going to Esto Meta Forecasts right here under our services on our website, Tarot for Traders. And then you want to click on our monthly prediction right here. Our monthly predictions And in the case of Ethereum, you click on subscribe to Ethereum. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, guys. We definitely recognize everybody's name who subscribes and supports the channel. It really is an important way to allow us to continue doing what we're doing. So thank you very much to those of you to do that. And for those of you that have been doing that, you would have seen this solid trade here from the 9th to the 15th. All right, so a highest high, a sharp decline on the 2nd through multiple supports, then some price swinging on the 3rd, and probably another highest high with a sharp drop off of that into the 4th. Actually, early morning on the 4th is a big move higher, and then it looks like a sharp drop there, taking us into what may be a lowest low here on the 5th. There's a high probability of a lowest low here on the 5th. And an intentional fake out, shakeout of some kind, some sort of chart misdirection, and like could make you do something impulsive. On the 6th, we have a decline to a support level that was recently a past opportunity and is noteworthy on a 1-month scale. And then on the excuse me. On the 7th, we have a big move higher, a breakout on a 1-month scale, kind of a 1-month chart kind of scale, and we have a prominent crest at the towards the end of the day on the 7th. We may see another real crest here for the month, prominent crest, or possibly a highest high here. I think most likely we have highest highs here on the 1st and the 3rd, and then again towards the end of the month. But it's possible we see it again here. There'll be a prominent peak or crest here on the cusp of the 7th, 8th, and there'll be a move higher through resistance to meet that peak or crest, followed by shortly thereafter by a breakdown through that same price level. We have a U-shaped dip on the 9th with a prominent trough or low here in the middle of the day on the 9th, a U-shaped dip. And then another sharp drop. There's a period of sideways rotation along the key support level that's highlighted on the 10th, and then there's a sharp drop towards the end of the day, taking us to what might be another lowest low in the midst of that sideways rotation. Yeah, it looks like over the 10th is sideways rotation along key support, increasing with bearish momentum as we move forward into the day, and then on the 11th, we have sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher. So we may have a lowest low there, but there's a lot of price change on the 10th. So there's a prominent crest or peak there, and possibly a lowest low on the 10th. Not as strong of a possibility as the 5th and the 15th, but still a strong possibility because I'm picking up on something there. And then on the 12th, we have a period of sideways fluctuating decline that precedes a rally, and there's a sharp drop in that period of decline. It looks like towards the end of the day, especially sharp drop. Advised to be cautious on the 13th, some sort of tricky chart behavior, maybe multiple false tops or bottoms. Usually there's sideways rotation when you see prudence. A brief peak on the 14th that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels, taking us into the 15th, where we most likely have our 3rd lowest low here with the establishment of support and some sideways rotation. On the 16th, a period of volatility ends with a fast sudden move higher. It looks like we reached for a distant resistance level starting on the 16th, moving into the 17th. So pretty bullish after a sharp drop on the 16th, a fast sudden move higher, carrying over into the 17th to reach for distant resistance. There's some erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level on the 18th. In the midst of that erratic behavior, we revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. And then it looks like we continue higher on the 19th, continue higher still on the 20th. We very likely have a highest high here on the 19th, 20th. On the 21st, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support, and then we push on the 22nd, we push the upper end of a range higher and create another crest or peak there around the cusp of the 21st to the 22nd. Another prominent trough on the 23rd. In the midst of quite a lot of price change. There's enough price change on the 23rd to position oneself in both directions, and we'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. On the 24th, a sharp decline standing out and a prominent trough or low there again on the 24th. On the 25th, we have, towards the end of the day, a prominent peak or crest that we sell off from down to and through support. And then we do a U-shaped reversal around the cusp or early in the day on the 26th. Come back and reuse that support that we broke down through as support. There's a near overbought crest or peak towards the end of the day that we sell off from the end of the day on the 26th with 3 pokes through the same price level or 3 pokes through the same resistance level, which seems to be on an angle to the downside there on the 26th. 3 pokes through the same price level followed by a sharp drop off of that third poke, which should be like a near overbought crest or peak. And it takes us to a prominent trough or low on the cusp of the 26th, 27th, from which there's sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. Looks like that sideways fluctuating rally continues into the 28th along a diagonal trend line, but then ends with a fast sudden move higher on the 28th, followed by a decline through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. And that decline continues into the 29th, where we have a notable decline sitting out on a multi-day chart. On the 30th, however, we have a fast sudden move higher, and then that takes us into quite a lot of price change in July. And it looks like I said, on the 1 month, an important trough, or on the 1 year, there's an important trough for the year there early in the month. That's the Ethereum 1 month overview reading for June. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Most importantly, my friends, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You do so here at the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where we ask that you follow the rule of karma and be an angel investor. An angel investor is somebody that donates 5% of the profits from the information, from the profits they make from the information in this channel. They donate 5% of those profits forward to one of these charities here, and 5% of the profits back to the channel. Much appreciation goes out to those angel investors out there. You're my angels. And make sure that you spend the rest of that money out of love. As long as you do that, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold in all directions, my friends. Stay tuned. We're going to get into the paid version. I'll see you on the next one.